Proposition 64 is marijuana legalization initiative statute, dude. The summary reads, legalizes marijuana under state law for use by adults 21 or older, imposes state taxes on sales and cultivation, provides for industry licensing and establishes standards for marijuana products, also allows local regulation and taxation, fiscal impact, additional tax revenues ranging from high hundreds of millions of dollars to over $1 billion annually, mostly dedicated to specific purposes. Reduced criminal justice cost of tens of millions of dollars annually. What your vote means. A yes vote on this measure means adults 21 years of age or older could legally grow, possess, and use marijuana for non-medical purposes. With certain restrictions, the state would regulate non-medical marijuana business and tax the growing and selling of medical and non-medical marijuana. Most of the revenue from which taxes would support youth programs, environmental protection, and law enforcement. What a no vote means on Proposition 64 says, growing, possessing, or using marijuana for non-medical purposes would remain illegal. It would still be legal to grow, possess, or use marijuana for medical purposes. Arguments that are for Proposition 64 read as follows. Proposition 64 creates safe legal system for adult use of marijuana. It controls, regulates, and taxes marijuana use and has the nation's strictest protections for children. It provides billions for after-school programs, job training, and drug treatment, and cracking down on impaired driving. Fix your approach to marijuana. Visit yes on 64.org. What the cons to Proposition 64 are noted as such. Proposition 64, proposedly, omits DUI standard to keep marijuana impaired drivers off our highway. California Association of Highway Patrolmen and Senator Dianne Feinstein strenuously oppose. Legalizes ads promoting smoking marijuana, gummy candy and brownies on shows watched by millions of children and teens, shows reckless disregard for child health and safety. Opposed by California Hospital Association. Vote no on Proposition 64. Proposition 64. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many people just expected me to sign for this ballot, for this bill to go to the ballot, who just like friends who just in positive intentions just assumed my support and assumed that support for such a bill is necessary. And at this point, I think what's more necessary is questioning this bill. That might be the most important thing at this point, at least. Who are the parties that are proposing this proposition? You can speak for yourself, decide for yourself. For more information about Proposition 64 and the argument for it, you can contact Dustin Moore. And his phone number is 916-382-2952. You can go to www.yeson64.org. For more information against Proposition 64, you can go to noon64.net. You can contact Rosales at 916-473-8866. $65. Woo! We're almost there, folks. Proposition 65. Not the most important, not the most thrilling and exciting prop, but it's still something to consider because your vote is requested on it. Carry-out bags, charges, initiative statute. It redirects money collected by grocery and certain other retail stores through mandated sale of carry-out bags. Requires stores to deposit bag sale proceeds into a special fund to support specified environmental projects. Fiscal impact, potential state revenue of several tens of millions of dollars annually under certain circumstances, with the monies used to support certain environmental programs. What a yes vote means on Proposition 65. A yes vote on this measure means if state law prohibits giving customers certain carryout bags for free, and 2, requires a charge for other types of carryout bags, the resulting revenue would be deposited in a new state fund to support certain environmental programs. I didn't know that wasn't already happening. I already pay 10 cents per bag if I forget my bags. What a no vote means on Proposition 65. No vote on this measure means if charges on carryout bags are required by a state law, that law could direct the use of the resulting revenue toward any purpose. Any purpose. Okay. Arguments that are in support of Proposition 65 say, yes, on 65, protect the environment. In a deal brokered by special interest lobbyists, the legislature required grocery stores to charge and keep fees on certain bags at checkout. Grocers get $300 million richer while shoppers lose $300 million. Proposition 65 redirects those fees to environmental projects, not grocer profits. Wow. The con of Proposition 65 states as follows. Proposition 65 is sponsored by out-of-state plastic companies from South Carolina and Texas. They don't care about California's environment. They just want to confuse voters and distract from the real issue, the need to phase out plastic grocery bags. 65 is deceptive and doesn't deserve your vote. For more information about Proposition 65, you can go to yes on 65. No name is listed, and no phone number, but they do have an address. For more information against Proposition 65, contact Mark Murray. Okay, Proposition 66. This is the most important proposition on the ballot. This is one where we should really consider because there are a lot of lives at stake. So, if even after going over this quick reference guide summary that I'm going to read to you, from our book here that was mailed out by the state for every registered voter. I'm going to read to you Proposition 66. And I encourage you to take the time to open the book yourself. It's a lot of pages. It's not little. It's like it's about as thick as a magazine would be, but it's filled with words. Proposition 66 summary states, changes procedures governing state court challenges to death sentences. Designates Superior Court for initial petitions and limits successive petitions. Requires appointed attorneys who take non-capital appeals to accept death penalty appeals. Exempts prison officials from existing regulation process for developing execution methods. I will reread that. Exempts prison officials from existing regulation process for developing execution methods. Fiscal impact, semicolon. Unknown ongoing impact on state court cost for processing legal changes to death sentences. Potential prison savings in the tens of millions of dollars annually. What a yes vote means on this measure. Court procedures for legal challenges to death sentences would be subject to various changes such as time limits on those challenges and revised rules to increase the number of available attorneys for those challenges. Condemned inmates could be housed at any state prison. Okay, what a no vote on this measure would mean: there would be no changes in the state's current court procedures for legal challenges to death sentences. The state would still be limited to housing condemned inmates only at certain state prisons. The arguments that are for Proposition 66: our death penalty system is bogged down by decades of appeals. We need to reform it, not repeal it. By passing Proposition 66 saves millions of dollars, saves the prisons millions of dollars. The cons to Prop 66 are as follows. Proposition 66 is not a real reform. We don't know all of its consequences, but we do know this: it adds more layers of government bureaucracy, causing more delays, costs taxpayers money, increases California's risks of executing an innocent person. Prop 66 is a costly experiment that makes matters worse. For more information for the parties that want Proposition 66, you can contact Kermit Alexander. For more information against Prop 66, you can go to No on CaliforniaProposition66.org. And you can also contact Californians for Fair Justice. Their address is 39 Drum Street, that is Drum with 2 M's, in San Francisco, California 9411111.